body. In particular today, it's focusing on reducing back pain, if not eliminating back pain, but also about giving you some simple exercises to start to build up the strength around your spine to better support your body. This will also help to reduce degeneration of the spine and give that bony structure the support that it needs, and also help to reduce the likelihood of being injured. Your spine should be able to move in all sorts of directions. It should be able to twist and rotate. You should be able to bend over. You should be able to look back. So there's lots of movements that your spine should be able to do, but sometimes we just don't do these in everyday life. So to begin with, we're actually going to start to release some areas, and then we're going to work on some strengthening some areas as well. Those strength exercises will be there to support your spine and keep it or prevent back pain from kicking in or injuries as well. I definitely recommend that if you're going to do any sort of strength building work, that you do this at least 2 to 3 times a week. If you're suffering in particular, you might start maybe doing 3 or 4 times a week to really start to give it a good kickstart and a boost. So sometimes back pain comes from our glutes, and more often than not it does. So we're going to start by stretching the glutes, and we'll end up strengthening them later on. To start off with, I want you to take one leg to sit over the top of the thigh. I want you to sit really, really tall. I then want you to have the thought process that the chest is reaching over an object, reaching over a barrel, and leading the move. And as you do, feel like the tailbone or your sit bones are lengthening away from the body as well. So they're going this way while the chest movement is coming this way. You can apply soft little pressure with this hand on the outer knee. And either way, we're going to start to just breathe deeply. And as we breathe, it's a sense of letting go where it is you feel a little stiff and restricted through the glute. And what you can do is also press this top foot into the bottom thigh quite strongly. You will see barely a little movement here through the knee here. As I press down, the knee lowers down a little bit here. So this top ankle is pressing into the bottom thigh. You hold it for 5 seconds and then you release. And then you repeat. Press that ankle down. I'm not pushing it down. I'm applying force from the leg and then release. And hopefully as we do this, let's go again. Press down and release. That you get a little more depth and a little bit more release as we go along. So I hope you're noticing now. I'll get a little lower here. I'm not rounding my back. I'm trying to keep my back nice and straight from behind. And release. Let's change sides. Do the other leg. Sit up nice and tall on your sit bones. Lead with that chest to come forward. And take a moment to just breathe through it. And with every breath out, a sense of just letting things relax, letting it go. Feel the sit bones, your tailbone reaching out behind you. And now let's apply pressure, so this front or top thigh pressing firmly into the thigh underneath. And then release. Press down again, 5 seconds here. And release again. And press again. Breathing out as you do. And I hope you can notice I'm getting lower and lower as my glute muscles get stretched and released. We'll go one more time. Push and hold. And release. Great. So now we get into the movement of mobility of our spine. I want you to sit up nice and tall and just place your hands comfortably on the thighs here. Maybe a little bit of the fingertips over the knees for support. If you have a disc bulge, you want to take care and not make your move big. Okay? So the first part is I'll kind of draw the belly button to the spine, I scoop in the tongue, and if you look at my lower back, I'm going to you would come back to neutral and just repeat that. Otherwise, what I want you to do is to look up, draw your shoulders back and arch through your spine, what we call extension of the spine. And now we'll return to flexion of the spine, just a gentle support, the hands on the knees, breathe, and then pull yourself back up, draw your shoulders back and down. One more. And then come back up. And let's slowly return to neutral. On your chair, you're going to take your knees to the side. I'm going to have my back to you. And the closest arm in, we're going to hold onto the chair and bring the outer arm to reach behind. Let go of the other arm and place it behind onto the seat of your chair. And I'm going to use this arm here at the back to pull, and I want to feel a sense of growing tall as I twist and rotate the body up here. Breathe deeply. Encourage that nice middle of the back rotation through the upper body there as well. And then we'll slowly come out of that. I'm going to work myself towards you now. And I'm going to then bring the outer arm over and the other one behind. I'm going to twist like when you undo a bottle cap and have a sense of twisting upwards as I pull my hand in the back of the chair. And I'm supporting my hand with the other arm and a hand underneath the seat of the chair. Good, and you could do that a couple of times. You know, if you felt that that was something that your body really needed, then that's what you would do. My final stretch here is to now take the hand underneath the side of the chair, and I'm going to use this for a little bit of support here. My outer arm, I'm going to reach up. Okay, feel like your feet are grounded and that you've got a supporting chair. Stretch your arm upwards and then just allow yourself to take that arm across. Keep it in line with the ear. Breathe deeply. And be slow to come out of that. Take care and then change sides. Bring yourself in a supportive position as the arm stretches up to the ceiling and then comes across. Good. Keep breathing. Stretch the hand, reach away. Open them up through not only the sides of the ribs and the hips, but your spine is getting what we call lateral flexion, going side to side. So your spine it should be mobile, but it also should be strong at the same time. So now I'm going to teach you a few exercises to get you started in building up the muscle structure around your spine to better support you. So quite often you hear people talk about core strength as being something to help with back pain, and there's good reason for it. But understanding what core strength means is to understand that it's not just about the abdominal muscles, which gets a lot of focus. It's actually about a muscle we call the transverse abdominis. This muscle here, it comes up and it joins into the rib cage through the gap here. It follows the lines of the ribs and it wraps itself back around into some, tissue of the spine. But then it also starts at the pubic bone, follows around the rim of the hips here, and also connects back here. And if you could kind of visualize a core set, that's the area that we're going to focus on. It's a deep core muscle, sits about 3 layers deep underneath your skin. Now, it sits just in front of your organs as well, so shoulders to protect your organs too. So how do we wake this muscle up and find what it is? We're going to come down to the floor and we're going to lie down. And then from here, we're going to place one leg to lift up at a right angle. I'm going to have you just take your hand onto the knee, the other hand on as well. We're going to breathe in, and then as we breathe out, I'm going to press quite firmly into the thigh. Can you feel a mid-tension there? And that's just through the abdominal wall here. And then keep pressing, and with control, bring your other leg up here now as well. And place the other hand there. So we have a hand on each knee and thigh area. Breathe in again. And as you breathe out, press them firmly into each other and feel a tension through the abdominal wall. Good. And then slowly bring one foot down at a time. So it's a really easy way to feel the activation of that tummy muscle, but it does take practice to learn how to get it firing up. To make sure that we're trying to build up your abdominal strength, we're going to place one hand under the lower back and the other hand on your tummy, just above the pubic area. I want you to try not to move any of the hips or your lower back now, as we float the one leg up here again. Use your abdominals. Okay, now with control, it's a little stronger here now. We're now going to bring the other leg up. Keep the same pressure in the hands now. As we lower the foot down, you'll feel like the lower back will want to lift, but use the abdominals to control where the hips stay, and then you'll feel easy as you come back down. So now let's start with the opposite leg up. So we're going to bring this leg up now. I'm going to find the abdominals of my pelvic floor now and bring the other leg up. Breathe in, and then breathe out. Bring first leg back down, and like I said, it feels easier to bring the second leg down, which is why we alternate. So basically, you're trying to keep your hips and your lower back as still as you can as we practice these, trying to visualize that deep TA muscle switching on as we go through the movement. Let's go one more. And you shouldn't feel like your tummy is pushing into your hand a great deal. A sense of flattening or tension. Good work. Now we're going to take it up one more level for you. Okay, so you would start with that first move, build up your strength, and then we would progress to a movement where we bring the legs up one at a time here. We stay here. And you work a range where you can lower the foot down, and maybe it's just here without arching your lower back, and then bring it back in. But eventually you will try to build up your strength so that you can find the floor, give it a light tap, and come back in. And breathe out as you go down. Breathe in. Breathe out as you come down. Keeping the pelvis, the lower back as still as you can. Keep going. And can you pay attention to your lower back now as we finish with this last one? Good work. Hug your knees and circle around. This is a lovely way to sort of massage that lower back and the sacrum area as well. Good. And then face your feet back down. So we talked about glute strength and how important that is to support your spine. So a nice easy way to get the glutes firing up to begin with is to have your knees together, feet together. Widen your knees so that the feet can roll on their sides. And I want the heels to be pressing into each other gently. And raise your knees slightly up once you are there. From here, find a gentle abdominal connection here and press the heels into each other. Remember, we're going to use some deep muscles here, so I want you to press those heels in towards each other. Activate the glutes and then release the pressure. And then then you're going to repeat again. Press into the heels to find the deep glute muscles. You'll feel them around your sit bones, the bony bits of your bottom. And then release. And we're going to go one more. Quite often, people with back pain have trouble firing up the glutes, so this is a great way to really, I think I've had success with 100% of people, that they feel their glutes when they practice this. So this would be an entry level to fire up those glutes. You could then progress to a bridge, and you're going to keep this foot position to begin with. We're going to keep the heels together. You're going to use your tummy to support the pelvis and the spine, and we're going to lift the hips up a little here. Don't think higher is better. Pressing those heels together and then lowering back down. Could be a little bit wobbly, so don't super press really hard. A nice gentle pressure with some tummy connection, pelvic floor, and then come back down. And last one here, and press those heels together, find the glutes. Come back down. Now we're going to have our feet come parallel, and a great way to get the glutes firing up is to add it to small spine work. So the first stage is, I want you to feel like you curl your tailbone between your legs so your back flattens and presses into the mat. Continue to feel like your tailbone is curling towards the belly button as we lift the hips up, and one by one peeling up the vertebra of the spine above the mat, just to about here, not too high, not too low, just in between. Pause here. Press the heels gently into the floor to activate the glute muscles underneath and keep a nice balance. Just going to hold here for a few seconds. I'm going to get you to breathe in now, and you're going to breathe out and let the back of the ribs lower down. Push the middle of the ribs back down. Press through the lower part of the spine. Flatten the back into the mat, find the floor, and then return the tailbone back down so there's a little arch through the lower back, our natural curve of the spine. Let's go again. Curl the tailbone through the legs, flatten your back and roll the spine up. Hold at the top. Press the heels into the mat. Just holding it here for a few seconds. And then roll back down. You get a little pinchy through your lower back. Don't go as high, or go back to the first glute move where we had our knees wide. Roll up again, and our heels together. And pause at the top here. Come back down. Now if you have a disc bulge, rather than pressing through the lower back strongly, you can start to just lift the pelvis up a little and roll through the rib cage to get you to the top. Let's hold again. Keep the presence of the heels there. Let the glutes fire up there. Breathe in. As you breathe out, roll the ribs down a little bit, but just as you get halfway down, just lead with the tailbone to drop the pelvis. And again, lift the pelvis up a little and roll through the rest of the body, not so much the lower back. And then roll halfway down, and then let your pelvis rest fully as well. Wonderful. From here, we're going to take one leg out straight, and I want you to press that heel into the floor, and feel your hands a little on the hip bones here. And I'm going to get you to bring the other leg up bent. For a more advanced move, you could have it sit a little straighter, or right up straight. I'm going to keep mine bent here, nice and soft here. We're going to try to find that abdominal muscle again, the TA muscle. Press your hand into the thigh. Can you feel that tension? Can you mimic it and keep it on? Identifying that. Now very, very slowly, think of your thigh like a wooden spoon. Your hip bone or hip socket is the pot. We're going to circle and stir the pot. Now notice how little I went to start off with. I want you to keep the pelvis as still as you can while you work your circular motion. Breathe out as you go into your move. here through the upper abdominal area here where the TA muscle connects into the ribs. Let's reverse. So reverse the circle, get your body's core set on. Now a little cheating you can do by pressing the heel on the floor into the mat to stabilise as well. Well, it's not really cheating, it's actually good that you've got a little glute activation here while we work through our body's core set. A couple more. And typically I would probably get you to do 3 rounds of these. Rest that leg and change. And you can feel underneath, if you're not sure of your movement, you can put your hand underneath, you will certainly feel like we did before, whether or not your hips are moving. Alright, press the heel onto the floor, choose a direction, so I'm doing roughly 5 in one direction, 5 in the other, keeping those ribs down. Do not hold your breath. Press that heel into the floor gently. So my right leg is straight on the mat, so I can feel my right glute kicking in as I press the heel. Let's reverse direction. And as you build up your strength, this circle can become bigger, but the main thing is your hips and the pelvis should not move side to side. And last one here. Great work. So yes, I'll do multiple sets of those to work on building up the stability through the pelvis. Please understand that when everything is nice and strong through the centre of our body here, that the rest tends to flow and work a lot better. Alright, we're going to find a position where your elbow is under your shoulder, not away from the shoulder but under. From here, when you look at your feet, they should be in line with your glutes or your sit bones. And then I want you to feel a lifting of the rib cage to activate their side muscles, particularly above the waistline here. Once you're in that position, we're going to try to lift the hips up and bring them back down. So elbow under the shoulder, elevate the ribs, maintain that now, and lift the hips up to the side and feel if you need, feel the muscle that kicks in here, your obliques. Feel a little glute activation and lower back down. And again, bring it up. Can you use your obliques to lift up? Can you use your glutes to lift up? And then come back down. So that's a really good entry point into starting to work the muscles that support the sides of your spine here. Otherwise you can hold. We can hold here and you can build up your time range and build up, maybe start at 20 seconds or 10 seconds and lead yourself up to a minute. For the more advanced, you could add the top leg to sit straight or hover. Okay, that's starting to get a bit more into the advanced moves there as well. Alright, so we're going to lower down now. Good, and then I'm going to have you come onto your side. Rest your head on your arm. If not, you can bring your hand to support yourself there, but preferably down or with a pillow instead. Center yourself with your mat and take your top leg out straight. And notice my hip bone here, I'm going to lengthen towards the end of the mat so that I create a space under here to level my hip bones up, one stacked on top of the other. I want you to feel a sense of lightness through the foot, the movement coming from the hip and the glute area to lift the leg up just to hip height and then back down. Visualize a cup of coffee or a hot drink here, stay nice and still. It's very common for the pelvis to tilt. So as the leg comes up, don't go so high that your hip collapse, moves and drop. We need a stable joint to fire up that glute muscle. Good. And as you lie on your side, just check your ribs aren't poking out a lot, just draw them under a little bit, because when your ribs poke out, your spine will arch. We want to keep our spine in what we call a neutral position, and that's basically the natural curves of your spine. Or like if you're standing nice and straight. Remember, use the glute muscle here to lift the leg up And I would do about maybe 3 sets of 10, 8 to 10 to start off with. Great work. We're going to come back and we're going to our side plank. Remember your position with the elbow under the shoulder. Almost feel like it's too much under. Feet back, ribs up. Alright, are you ready? And let's lift up. And then come back down. It's kind of nice to feel what's happening here. So you can put your hand here. And can you feel some structures start to kick in to support you as you fight gravity and lift into the air? Okay, so that's your entry level. So you can keep going with that. Or you can just hold here now. Just hold for a little bit longer there. Remember, you can take the top leg out straight. Otherwise, if this is new to you, I would encourage you just to stay here to begin with. Or move up and down. Holding, do not collapse through your shoulder and keep the waistline up. And then we're going to slowly lower down on that. And like I said, build up your time with that. Let's come down to our hip work and glute work. Alright, tuck the rib cage in, it shouldn't be pushing out, pull it in a little. And now keep a sense of flatness and lengthening here through the hip as you come up and down. Lengthen. And again. Try to breathe out as you go into your move. And try not to collapse under the space here. Use those oblique muscles and your body's core set to keep everything nice and stable. Last one here. Wonderful. So, they're very simple exercises to get you starting with the aim to build up the structure of your body's natural core set, but also the structure here of the glutes to support the pelvis as well. When the pelvis is loose or unstable or weak, as you can see, my spine can go out of alignment as I move through the hips there. So you want to make sure that you've got not only strong glutes, but also your strong core set through the middle. I hope you enjoyed that today. 100% if there are no pathologies that require further investigation, you are going to feel better. And please reach out to me if you have any questions. Have a great day.